Does the S&P 500, does the U.S. stock market deserve to be in a new bull market? We're on the cusp of being in a bull market.
I don't think it does, right? I think we've got an outlook that is quite uncertain economically. We've clearly been better off than we thought we were going to be. I think if you exited 2022, we all thought that by this time in 23, we'd be in recession. Things would be harsh. Like the economic data from last week, the payrolls data in particular, shows that we're not. Inflation's subdued, employment's good, but we've seen markets rip at the same time as earnings are decelerating, and the outlook going forward still isn't great. We don't know what the Fed actions are going to, cause, and that's causing, a lot of uncertainty going forward. So I think what we've got is a difference between the average and the median. So if you look at the spread in the S&P 500, it's really driven by those giga caps, right? And we've seen a concentration around those names. Microsoft and Apple now represent, as a combined weight, the greatest weight of any two names since the construction of the S&P. So I think that's leading to a view that the markets are really strong. The S&P is in bull territory, but the average company is struggling. And I think that what we're seeing today is that ISM number, that data continues to argue that we should be a little bit more temperate.
What does this say when a company like Apple is pinning so much of its hopes and its ambitions and its future on something like a $3,500 device that, as far as Romain and I can tell, doesn't really serve much of a purpose? What does it tell you about the state of our companies and whether it represents the economy or not?
I think it's highlighting that growth for a lot of companies is going to be more challenged. You clearly had an environment in the past where innovation was readily accessible and it made sense. Whether it was the iPod, the iPhone, whether it was newer versions that were, better battery life, et cetera. Well, what are you getting now with each new version? It's tougher and tougher, right? The iWatch has been a while. Yeah. And so a $3,500 device is, for the overwhelming majority of people, extremely expensive. And is it going to change your life in the way that the iPhone did? I don't know. And so for a company to pin its hopes on that, I think shows that maybe it's stretching a little bit.
I am curious about market sentiment because the market it seems to be reaching for this idea of sort of that next big thing. You saw that with the relentless rally in AI, and I guess that is still continuing to a certain extent. And then whatever this VR headset is supposed to be, there does seem to be a market that says, okay, let's find that next big thing. And I'm wondering if it's even out there. Are we sort of looking for something that really isn't there?
I think that next big thing always exists, right? We're always innovating, but what's interesting is we can't really predict where it's coming from. Yeah. Right, a few years ago, we thought the metaverse was the next big thing.
Well, one person did.
Well, true, right? But we're still kind of waiting for the metaverse. Yeah. So I don't think that's really, I think that search, we get hyped. We get really excited. AI is a great example. Like, AI seems really cool. Is it going to change the world, or is it just a shifting of spending within technology? Yeah. It's unclear, and when you see money commit really aggressively behind this hype cycle, I think that can be a little dangerous.